Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Cartooning. Let's take a look at some of your art. Great job, guys. Looks like we have another mystery on our hands. Today we're doing Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is one of those cartoon characters that has been a part of almost everyone's childhood. Even if they've never seen an episode, most people will know who Scooby-Doo is. Created in 1969 for the Hanna-Barbera Company by Joe Ruby and Ken Spears, Scooby-Doo follows the exploits of Mystery Inc., 5 friends, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo, as they drive around in their mystery machine. But what most people don't realize about the team is the influences behind their creation. The characters themselves are based on several characters from a 1960s television sitcom called The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, a significant American TV show in that it was the first to feature teenagers as the main characters, and doubly significant in that it highlighted the counterculture movement of the 1960s. In fact, several of the characters in Dobie Gillis mirror members of Mystery Inc. Another direct influence for Scooby-Doo were British adventure novels written by Edith Blyton called The Famous Five, a series in which a group of 4 friends and their dog solve mysteries. But what I think is the most interesting bit of trivia regarding Scooby-Doo is the arrival of his name. At first, the dog in the series was to be named Too Much, again representing counterculture by showcasing teenager lingo from the 1960s. However, while on his way to a meeting for the show, one of the producers heard Frank Sinatra sing his famous song Strangers in the Night. Frank Sinatra ends the song by scat singing Doobie Doobie Doo, thus inspiring the name Scooby-Doo. All of these influences seem to have created a show that has stood the test of time. The original show, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, ran from 1969 to 1976, but continues to be shown every day in reruns. The show also spawned several spin-off shows like Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo and a pup named Scooby-Doo, as well as several direct-to-video movies, live-action feature films, and a brand new animated movie called Scoob. Though definitely exaggerated, the realistic character designs of Scooby-Doo and the gang make Scooby-Doo one of the most unique-looking characters to appear on Saturday mornings. Okay, let's get started with Scooby-Doo. Make sure you have your paper, your pencil, your eraser, and your inking marker. Let's take a look at the reference photo. And if we take a look at the character, you can see that he is an exaggerated version of a dog, but a realistically drawn dog. He's not anthropomorphized. If he was an anthropomorphized character, he would be walking on 2 legs. This is like a regular dog would, walking on 4 legs. So let's get started with the basic shapes first. Remember, a light touch with your pencil. And we're going to start with a sort of like a pill shape right about here. And then we'll do sort of like a circle for his bottom jaw, and then a shape sort of like this, not quite a circle, sort of like an amorphous blob for his snout. And we're going to sketch on where his ears would be as well. So they would be like right around here and right around here. I put a little fold in this ear. You can do the same later on. All right, we're going to put a little line right there. That's where his collar is going to be. We can actually sketch that collar in. And his tag, which is a diamond shape. His tag's usually a diamond. We're going to do his front part of his body, which is going to be sort of like an oval shape. And then we're going to have the back part of his body, which is going to be his legs going there. And he has got, if you look at the reference photo, he's got bowed legs in the back. So he's not as regal as a Great Dane usually is. If you've ever seen a Great Dane in person, they usually stand up nice and tall and they're very regal looking. Scooby-Doo's not like that. He's very, informal. So he has bowed legs and a double chin, and his feet go out in different directions. So let's sketch on his bowed legs. He's going to have one leg here, which goes out into a paw. And remember, we're just drawing our basic shapes first. We can go back in later on and get everything else done in detail. But right now, we're just putting in our shapes. Keep a nice, loose, and light touch with your pencil. This is one of the front legs, and the other front leg. And where his paws are going to be. And then there's this back leg, which we don't see where it connects to the body. It's on the opposite side. Let's move that a little bit. There we go. And we're going to sketch in his tail. What's different about a regular dog's tail is Scooby's tail has a lot of personality, actually. It's almost as if it's another character. And it's got sort of like a movement to it, more like a cat's tail. If you ever look at a cat's tail, how it can really maneuver. A dog's tail usually just goes back and forth, wagging. But Scooby's tail has a little bit more personality. All right, so we got our basic shapes in here. And now let's spend a little bit of time working on the face, because that's where the character, especially an iconic character like Scooby-Doo, that's where all the recognition is going to come from. So you want to make sure you get it as close as possible to the original character. Let's start with this ear here. Just start darkening those lines. So that's one ear, and we're going to do the inside of the ear. So just draw a line going down this way, connecting to the front. Right. The top of the head will go out a little bit and then down towards the snout. And then we can do this other ear. This is that ear that's folded. So you can just do this, and then a little line there, and that'll be the inside of the ear. This part and this part will be pink later on when we color. And we're gonna just do a vertical face line just so we can figure out where our eyes are gonna go. He's gonna have one eye here, and then one eye here, which is going to be slightly smaller because this, again, is a 3/4 side view character. So we're seeing 3/4 of the character. I can show you on the reference photo. We see 3/4 of his face, and there's just this 1/4 of the face that we don't see behind the snout over here. And because his head is turning away from the viewer, this eye is going to be slightly smaller. Not much, but slightly smaller. We can darken one side of the eye. And we can put in a pupil here and a pupil here. And then we're just going to darken the eye on one side. We'll put in a little bit of a eyebrow there and an eyebrow there, which we will emphasize once we start inking. But let's put in his nose and the rest of his muzzle. The nose is going to come out this way. Sort of like a triangular, like a rounded triangle going downward. And we'll just shade that a little bit so we know that it'll be black later on. Let's do one side of his mouth. And he's got a cheek that comes out, it goes down and back, it goes up, then it goes back down, and then up into a smile. So he's got sort of like a little goofy smile right there. And then this cheek, we only see this part of it, but we're gonna create a little bit of a lip right there, right? He has a bottom lip that sort of like juts out. I'm gonna put a little notch right over here. That's as if his mouth is just opening. And then we're gonna use this circle that we drew over here as his double chin. So he's gonna have one, and then another little line of a chin right there, right? He also has like little hairs coming off the bottom and then little circles there. Also, we could put the little circles where his whiskers are on his jowls or his muzzle. Darken that there. And this side of the head goes into the collar, and that goes into the collar. All right, speaking of the collar, let's get that done. So the collar is going to go down here and around. All right, now we have to put in the circle that holds the tag in. So it's coming out from behind the collar and then coming around. And then it ends there, and we put the tag in there. The tag is a diamond shape. It has like a yellow border going around it, and then it has S, sort of like a loose S, and then a D for Scooby-Doo. All right. We could actually thicken this line right here so that it looks three-dimensional. And let's move on to the rest of the body. Let's do this leg first. It comes out this way. You know, drawing a non-anthropomorphized animal, I think this might be the first time we're drawing a full animal-shaped body. You notice that their knees would be here and here. They go backwards. This would be a knee, this would be the knee, and this would be, and these two would be the knees. Just that's the opposite of a human, where the knees bend forward. Animal knees bend backward. All right, let's do an animal paw. All right, so we're going to come around here into the heel, then go up and over, and that's one toe. Then you start another toe, then another toe, and then the last toe. Let's do this is sort of like his chest. And then there's this leg. Scooby-Doo has all these like informal angles to him. It just makes him look, or it emphasizes the fact that he's just like your every dog. He's not as regal as a Great Dane would be. Toe, toe, toe. Okay. Now, his back is going to go down this way. Sorry. His back is going to go down this way. Let's do the back legs now. He's very bow-legged in the back. You see how his knees go out in opposite directions. Do this line. It'll go up and connect to this circle, which travels behind this leg and connects to the chest line. This goes down, creates that knee going backwards into the heel, toe, 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 and then a little toe right there. And this line goes from the toes up to the knee. All right, let's just sketch in this leg. This is that third quarter leg that we don't see the connection to, so it's got a little line of a bone right there. Like a lot of Hanna-Barbera characters, Scooby-Doo has these really cool angles. There's lots of angles to him. Okay, we got one toe, two toe, three toe, four toe. Erase that line right there. This will make much more sense when we start inking too. You'll be able to see it better. All right, Scooby has 3 spots. He has a big one on his back, which we only see half of, so we're gonna draw a line right here, sort of like a big letter U. All right, and then a rounded triangle there, and a smaller rounded triangle there. And he's got one little line here underneath that eye. All right, I think we're ready to start. That's that line I was drawing before. I think we're ready to start inking. Let's get our inking marker. I think when I'm doing the face, because it's a lot smaller than the rest of the body, I'm going to use a smaller inking marker if you have it. And if you don't worry about it. But for just the face, I'm going to do a smaller inking marker. Let's start with the eyes. Just get that done. Just thicken that line on one side, and then the pupil. And on the other side, thicken that line and the pupil. All right. Now, we're going to go right into the top of the muzzle right here. So from the eye, go right into the top and into the nose. Before we go any farther, I just want to ink in that line under his eye right here, his mouth, and the other side of his jowl, the interior notch. Remember I drew that little notch in there? The bottom lip that juts out into the double chin. And I'm doing this now because I want to switch into a thicker marker. You can put those little lines or those hairs that are sticking out of his chin. And the little lines, or I'm sorry, the little dots on his muzzle. All right, I'm going to switch into a slightly thicker of a marker now so that I can get those, if we look at the reference photo, those thick outlining lines like right here and here and here. So I'm switching markers. Let's do this ear. That's his forehead. And the eyebrows. That eyebrow can go right off the edge of the forehead. While I'm at it, let's ink in his nose. See, just by inking in the nose black, it looks so much more like Scooby-Doo. Because all of us know that Scooby has a black nose. All right, let's do his outside of his head. The collar, and before I do the rest of the collar, I'm going to ink in that chain that connects the collar to the tag. And then I'll do that tag. Remember, it is outlined in yellow, and then it has the S and the D on the inside. Thicken the line of the collar. Okay, now let's go into the rest of his body. Let's do the back. You'll notice, let's do that one more time, that I end with a little flick of the wrist over there just so I can get a nice little action movement line. Again, it just helps it look a little bit more spontaneous, and it makes your lines all the more smoother. Now when I ink the toes, you'll be able to see them a little bit better. And remember, when you ink, it's sort of like a second chance. You can fix something that you didn't get right with the pencils. There, that's that little flick right there. I'm doing this foot first before I do the foot in the back because this foot is in front of it. Chest line. One toe going into the heel. 2 toe, 3 toe, 4 toe. All right, let's get his spots in. Remember, they're sort of like rounded triangles. And that's sort of like a letter U just coming right off the back. Let's do his tail. All right. So we have all the inking done. Before we erase the original pencil lines, since we already have the inking marker out, let's ink in his black spots. So he's gonna have one here. One here, and then the letter U over here. All right, and I believe there's one line I forgot to do, and that is sort of like that ankle bone line right there, which we can put in before we erase our lines. Okay, let's spend a little time just erasing our original pencil lines. And now we can begin coloring. Scooby is all one color. We got a tan color for his fur. We already did the black spots and his nose. We're going to need sort of like a teal color for his collar and yellow for his tag. And I think we're gonna need a little bit of pink for his ears. So let's begin first by just doing his fur color. Let's take a little time. Let's color in the fur. Now let's do his collar, which is sort of like a teal green or blue. If you just have blue, that's fine. Be real careful and just do the inside line of the circle that's connecting the tag to the collar, the yellow going around, and then the yellow of the letters. And then go back in with a little bit more of that teal on the back, the background of the tag, in between the letters, if you have the space. And then just a little bit of pink in the inside of the ears. Double check to see if anything needs a touch-up. And then there you have it, Scooby-Doo.